Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Make sure you've carved out a little bit of space somewhere in your home where you can be undisturbed for a little bit so that we can do some sweet yin together. Don't need anything really. If you've got a blanket, you could use that maybe. I try to make these videos for you without the use of any props because I know lots of you don't have access to blocks, you don't have bolsters and a whole yoga catalog at home. So try to make it really accessible for you so that you can take it when you travel and stuff like that too. So let's get into our first shape. We're going to sit down on our tush and bring our legs out in front. We're going to start with a nice butterfly, really great way to get everything opened up in the back side of the body. So you'll start by drawing the soles of the feet together. And the legs are totally soft so that you can start to feel what's going on in the deeper layers of connective tissue that live past the muscle. So once you take a second to get cozy, you might find that you need to move your feet farther apart, or you might find you need to pull them closer in. So figure out your sweet spot. Once you've got everything comfortable and cozy, then you're going to start to kind of round forward towards your feet. Some of us might not get very far. We might be right here. Some of us might have a flexibility in our connective tissues to go further in. It's not about what it looks like. It's about finding that sweet spot where it feels good in your body. So find your place. We'll hang out here for a little bit. I'll keep an eye on the time so you don't have to look up to the screen. You can just chill. See if you can come to your breath. Observe it as it moves in and out. Allow yourself to feel the full support of the floor beneath you. Lots of our postures that we do in yin are very grounding. We're sitting for the majority of the time if you think about it. And that has a very grounding effect on us physically. And whatever we're doing to the body, we are doing to the mind and to the heart. So we're getting grounded, finding clarity and space through the thoughts. And that's why sometimes in your practice, things can bubble up, solutions to problems, little moments of clarity. And so we take this time to connect back in, to get grounded, body, mind, and heart. Keep checking in with your breath. You're doing great. You're about halfway through. Allow yourself to keep scanning and noticing if you can soften somewhere a little bit more. You'll notice that you might feel like you're a little bit further into your legs than when you first came into the shape. And that's from all the benefit of the sweet time we get to spend in these poses. It's what these layers of our body need to open. They need time and a little loving pressure so that traction can be created in the body to lovingly pull it apart. And as these things start to open and you start to soften more and more, you get more connected to that sense of being grounded. You feel really firmly rooted into whatever surface you're sitting on at home. You start to feel really connected to the energy that's within you, this kind of calm and grounded force. So keep surrendering into that space of grounded presence. Keep observing your breath. Draw the big breath in and out. And slowly start to walk yourself back up, coming out of butterfly. You can lean back into the hands so that you open back up through the fronts of the hip creases. Any urges and desires to windshield wiper the legs, let that happen. When you feel those kind of rushes of sensations moving through the body, you're increasing blood flow and circulation. So you kind of feel that when you come out, the sweet residue of the pose, all of the anatomical parts and pieces that are getting opened, hydrated, stronger. And as we pause before we do the next shape, you can just simply sit as you are and close the eyes. You can connect into a deeper sense of what the pose has given you. As you feel really glued into the floor that you're sitting on, feel really open through this kind of main channel of the spine. See if you can sit up nice and tall and roll the shoulders back and close the eyes. Just a little mini seated moment here. See if you can feel with every breath in the way that the spine grows a little bit taller. And with every breath out, there's a softening and a deeper relaxing back into presence. Keep doing that. Draw a big, rounded, energetic breath in. A sweet, juicy, relaxing one out. Take 5 more of those, just observing how you feel. When you're done and flip onto your belly, we'll do Sphinx Pose, nice back bend to complement what we just did in butterfly. Sweet opening to the front side of the body now as we stretch through the belly, hip flexors, psoas, quadriceps even. So as you come up onto your forearms, elbows are in the floor and palms are on the floor also. And it doesn't matter if palms go up or down, it's what feels better for your body. And you'll feel a sweet little opening of the shoulders as you draw them back away from the ears. There is, of course, a little bit of energetic effort to hold our body upright, but what we're targeting is the lower back. So we're putting pressure on lower lumbar, sacrum, SI joint, kind of all that area down there. So that's what we want to be the most passive. So it's okay that there's a little bit of effort going on with the arms to hold the body up. Let the whole lower half of the body be really soft as it starts to get even more grounded and melt down even further into the floor. If it's comfortable for you, your head could drape forward and just hang. But if that stresses the neck, it's not a requirement. You can keep yourself more upright. You could even sometimes rest your head onto your hands if that doesn't bother you, just to kind of give you a little bit of support in lieu of not having maybe a block or a prop to rest your head on. Now close your eyes. Allow yourself to tune into the breath and see if you can feel it moving up and down the length of your spine. Feel as if the heart's trying to pull forward between the opening of the shoulders, which will create more length through your upper back. Allow each breath you take to help you settle in a little more. Feel kind of your lower ribs snuggle down into the floor. Let go of all effort through the tush. Unsqueeze your butt cheeks. Let go of the legs. Let them get heavier. Feel the press of the tops of your feet, the tops of your toenails on the floor. Keep coming back to that breath as it moves in and out, helping to make space in your spine. Back to the breath and allow your awareness to go back to your lower back and notice how the things are feeling back there. If the pressure, the dull achiness has subsided, you might want to go up a tiny bit higher and take Sphinx Pose into Seal. If you're still feeling okay, then chill right here for the last minute or so. To go up into Seal, you just take your hands and move them to the right and left edges of your mat. Pressing down, you could even, if you have a mat, you could even grip the outer sides of it with your hands. And then all you do is straighten your elbows so your arms go straighter. It'll get a little bit more intense pressure-wise in your lower back. It's that pressure that we need to squeeze the vertebrae of your lower lumbar together, which will put pressure on the sweet little discs in between each vertebrae. It's that pressure that we need to squeeze out what's dingy, stuck particles, to wring out like a kitchen sponge so that the discs of your back can become rehydrated and supple again. But it's up to you to figure out if the pressure is juicy or if it's uncomfortable to the point that it's distracting you and you can't breathe and be still and peaceful. So you choose. You can stay here for the last minute or so, or you can go right back down to Sphinx and snuggle back in there. Come back to the breath. Let it continue to ground and comfort, calm and open you. Full breaths at your own pace, and lay down on your belly and rest. Allowing the back to fully settle, for you to really appreciate the benefits of being in these shapes. That's why I like to take our time and not rush from one to the other, to really be present, to being present in the space in between each pose. That's where the awareness gets richer and deeper, and the aliveness in the body gets felt in a lot more kind of technicolor way. So take a couple more breaths here, just laying on your belly, fully feeling how you feel from the inside out. Fully aware of the slow, steady pace of thought. How grounded you feel. And then we'll take our time. We'll come up to sitting. I'm going to give you some different options. Actually, no, stay where you are. Just flip over onto your back. I want to give you some different options on how to do pigeon pose, because lots of us have some difficulty with our knees and we don't always enjoy pigeon pose. And some of us also too, it's really extreme on a hip flexor sometimes and we can't quite get comfortable. So I want to give you some options on another alternative. So you can always rock this out in class if we go into pigeon pose, which in Yin we call swan pose, sleeping swan. If you ever go into it and you're not comfortable, you can always just flip right over. Don't ever need me to tell you that. You can always just choose to take this option. So flip onto your back. You're probably already there. Take your right leg and you're going to cross your right ankle right over your left shin or knee, so that you can change kind of how things are going. You can move your left foot closer in and you can push your right knee farther apart. We're listening to sensation along this kind of outer right side seam of our leg and our hip. We're getting into our iliotibial band, IT band as it's called. So this might be enough for some of you. You can totally chill here. If you need a little bit more intensity to feel the sensations of connective tissue being exercised, you can pick the leg up, grab behind the calf or in front of the knee. Then you can pull that knee in a little bit more. It might kick up in intensity along the outside of your right hip. Find your sweet spot where the sensation is just the right amount. And the pressure and the loving traction you feel in your body is just the right amount that it allows everything to get really, really still, really, really calm and quiet. So hanging out here for a little bit, I'll keep an eye on time for us. Coming back to the breath and feeling things slowly begin to soften, let go. Continue to get more grounded and open here. Observing each breath without any judgment. Allowing thoughts to occur without any judgment. Our goal in this practice is not to completely quiet our mind by making thoughts cease. That's something that's challenging. Our mind's primary function, its job, is to think. And so asking it to completely stop is very foreign, and I don't think your mind will ever be able to ultimately do that for every waking moment of your day. So we look for a more realistic approach, a more mindful approach, and that's to just make some space between the thoughts. And to not attach to them as aggressively as we do in our life, to not let them pull us back through the past, the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, and to not get us distracted by a future that is not even anywhere close to occurring. And we do that by observing the thoughts as lovingly as we can. Our breath is an anchor. Our yoga practices helped to teach us. So a thought might occur as you lay here in this reclining sleeping swan. And that's okay. You're not failing at yoga. You're not failing at being more peaceful. Because the thoughts are going to continue to occur. The magical transformative moment is, can you consciously choose not to get carried away in that thought, but instead to come back to your breath. Feel it move, even if it's just one inhale and exhale before the next thought takes you away. That matters. That moment of returning home, returning to presence, to grounded, to peace, to open, that moment matters. You're coming back to your breath. So what I'd like to give you now is an option to continue this reclining pigeon, but take a little variation that will intensify things. So if you're holding onto your left foot, let it come back down to the floor so it stays grounded. All I want you to do from here is take your right foot and drop it over onto the floor. So your left knee is going to go down, your right knee is going to stay up into the air. If available, your left hand might like to hold on to your right ankle. Your right hand can do whatever feels the best for your body. If things got too intense for you, you can always do some things. You can take this right foot, stack it on top of the left inner thigh if that doesn't bother you too much. Or you can just roll back a little bit and come back to the version that we were doing. Keep the foot grounded. So find your sweet spot. You might already be in it the second you rolled over. I enjoy this one a lot. So let's keep observing the breath a little bit more here. We'll do this one for the remainder of our time. breaths, and then rest in like a mini Shavasana in between sides. I'll join you there in a minute. Enjoy the fresh rush of blood flow, circulation, awareness, and really open, grounded presence as we chill here for a little bit and break in between sides. Maybe resting a hand on your heart and one on your belly so you can tune into the pulse of life and vibrancy and vitality that's moving through you. Whenever you feel ready, bend the knees again. We'll do that on the other side. This time the left leg will cross, ankle on top of the right knee. You can just walk the right foot maybe closer in towards the booty. That might be all you need to get the right sense of pull and tug and loving pressure to your left outer hip. If you need to, pick everything up and hold on to whatever is accessible for you. Take these next couple moments to snuggle in and get as comfortable as you can, despite extreme loving sensations of your connective tissue being tugged apart, this sweet bit of what you probably say feels like a stretch. It's a lot of nice pressure from the passive muscles in the body that are kind of sinking down onto the ligaments holding together your leg bones and your hip bones. And then you're feeling a nice tug that feels like a stretch to you because you're feeling pressure on connective tissue, something called a tendon, that's holding your muscles onto your bones. So that's what's kind of letting it feel a little bit to you like there's something stretching, getting some great pressure on those tendons. So allow yourself to find ease, to find the breath again. And sometimes it's effortless for us to do that. Sometimes we really need a little extra help to stay present on our mat. We got a lot going on, or we're just having one of those days where we're distracted. That's okay. Or we're thinking a lot. That's okay. Helpful tool can be to give yourself a word to maybe repeat in the mind as you breathe. Maybe you're working on something right now, patience. And maybe with every inhale you can breathe and say, I am. And with every exhale, patient. I am patient. The Buddha taught us that what the mind thinks, it ultimately becomes. And so that can be a really powerful, helpful tool to get us into the state of mind that we desire to be. And maybe if that's patient for you, or it can be anything that resonates for you, then it helps you, body, mind, and heart, to come into that which you fully already are. And that's light and love. You are those things. Patient, you are. You're just allowing yourself to get too caught up in what you're labeling as problems in your life. They're not problems. They're situations that you got to deal with. And so if we can take the label off of things being a problem, and we can just lovingly deal with the situations in front of us on our plate, and do it from a place of non-judgment, a place of receptivity to what is needed. And so you can prepare yourself for dealing with those situations by practicing patience, less anger, whatever it is you're currently working on. To breathe it in, to send that vibe, that vibration of being patient into the body and then back out into the universe with each breath you take. It'll make an impact, I promise. Keep breathing. Keep feeling those amazing sensations in the body, reminding you that you are alive and present and open. Check the time here. And then when we feel ready, let me check the time. Yeah, let's drop our left leg over. So right foot will connect back down to the floor, and then just take the sole of the left foot all the way over onto the floor. So the knee stayed up and the right knee just lowered down. So things are going to get a little bit more intense in the outside of the left hip. So find a sweet spot. If you need to or want to, you can hold on to the ankle. It's not a requirement. If you need to lessen it a little bit, you could stack your foot on top of your inner thigh if that doesn't create any strain by putting your foot there. And then close the eyes and see if you can come back to open and present and aware of sensation. We'll hang out here for a little bit. Breath and just checking in with your body. Is there something that it needs? Is there some place you can soften? Is there some place you can imagine the breath moving to so we can get a little bit more loving massage? Is there something that doesn't feel right? Sometimes that can happen. We can hold these poses for a long time and we don't know what it really looks like underneath the surface. We don't really fully know how nerves wrap around and through all this stuff. So sometimes we can get sensations of things falling asleep, like I am right now down in my foot. And so that's an opportunity just to maybe back off a teeny tiny bit. If we're spending a lot of time with something kind of falling asleep, sometimes we believe that that's indication that you could be clamping a little bit too much on maybe a nerve that's running through this hip complex. And it's okay, a little bit of pressure. It's okay, a little bit of that mildly, but we don't want to keep continuing to do that over and over and over again, clamping off the nerve. So if you're having that like me, you're having maybe things are falling asleep and you're starting to notice that it's a little too tingly, that maybe we could adjust. It's as simple as just seeing if you can back off a teeny tiny bit. You don't have to come out of the pose altogether. Just making a small adjustment and then checking in for a couple breaths and noticing, did that fix the intensity? Did that take away the overwhelming, tingly sensation of maybe something falling asleep? And so hanging out here for me, that absolutely did right away. So I'll stay here. But if it doesn't, it's still intense, then you just come out and rest. We'll take about 5 more breaths and then meet up in a little mini Shavasana together. The sweet openness that you've created in your body as you take a few moments here to rest. Aware of the richness of movement in your body, the energy that flows so vibrantly that you're so aware of now because you've spent some time getting really grounded and in tune with yourself. Sit back up this time. You're going to come on the long edge of the space that you're practicing in. If you have a mat, also go long edge of the mat. If If not, just go wide facing the camera. We're going to go frog pose. So you're going to come onto the insides of your knees. You want to be as comfortable as you can. This one's super extreme, and lots of us don't enjoy how intense it is. So it's a really beautiful opportunity that I like to present to you to really work on the emotional aspect of what's going on when we get into these poses. So you want to be on the big toe side of your foot, and you want to have that resting on the floor. Kind of would be nice to keep the ankles somewhat in line with the knee so that we don't tweak too much the inner groin. So keeping that, so it's pretty much kind of in the neutral position so that you can soften the whole lower half of the legs, not have any extra stress, extra pull. We're going to get pulled enough in this one, right? So if you are super uncomfortable, you're not alone. You're supposed to be. It's very extreme as we really access inner hip. So when we say hip opener, oftentimes in our yoga practices, we're really just kind of stretching and opening up the outer hip muscles. When we do our Yin Yoga, we're truly opening up our actual hip. We're really putting some manipulation through the deeper layers of connective tissue, and we are shifting the bones in a really loving way so that we are literally opening up the socket of the hip again. That's beneficial because we'll get rich oxygenated blood flow going in there. Will help to create an increase of fluid that we lose every day as we age. So we're spending some time here really truly opening up in a deep way, so it's going to feel intense. And the area of your hips has the most connective tissue than any other part of your body put together. So you have the most ligaments, the most tendons, the most bound up fascia and bundles of nerves moving through your hip complex than any other place in your body. Meaning your sensation will be the strongest because it's a lot of stuff talking to your body. So you just allow yourself to be as comfortable as you can. If you need to, you could grab some pillows and put them underneath your belly and let yourself lay on them. But see if you can settle in. See if you can use all this beautiful grounded energy that you have created in our practice today. Can you use it now when you need it the most? Can you really fully inhabit your body from the inside out? Can you not judge or label anything you're going through? Can you just fully feel it? Be fully present to it. It is normal for things to get really intense and uncomfortable in the body, so then the mind starts to feel that same way. So it's an opportunity to check back in and get really grounded again inside your body. Let it bring you comfort, not tension. Let it remind you of the openness, the spaciousness that's here. As you feel the sensations from the inside out, keep softening into them, keep relaxing behind them. Keep getting regrounded again with the presence of love and light that is within you. A couple more breaths, a little bit longer. You're doing great. Okay, so now there's no easy way out of this. Your body's either going to want you just to kind of flap forward and fall on the floor. It's going to want you to round back into a child's pose. Honor whichever way you are taken. Chill there for a couple breaths. Then come up to your hands and knees. Oh, we'll do one more together. Heart melting pose. From hands and knees, what you're going to want to do for this one is keep hips in line with knees so that we move the stretch through the upper back. So you walk your hands forward so that your heart starts to melt down. So sometimes it's called puppy stretch. It's going to start to feel really awesome across the chest. You can put your hands anywhere, honestly. If you join the palms of your hands together and you bend your hands back behind your head, you're going to feel things stretch a little bit more intensely through this kind of armpit and chest and pectoral wall. And that might hit the spot for some of you. It's going to feel compressive and intense through the upper back, this kind of space between shoulder blades. We want that. That's where the anatomical opening is targeted. So we want to breathe into that. See if we can quiet our mind as those things feel intense. Make any adjustments that your body's asking for. So if your hands need to go somewhere else so that you feel at ease in the strong sensation of this pose. You can either be on the chin or the forehead, or you can even stack your hands and rest your head on your hands. So you find the sweet spot that works for the extraordinarily perfect way that your body is put together. Honoring that body of yours as we find some stillness here in heart melting pose together. Keep breathing. Make any adjustments if you need to, small little shifts so that you can settle in a little deeper. feeling ready, just let yourself round back into child's pose. Take a couple breaths there. We'll make this kind of our final pose. So knees could widen or stay together. Hands could go anywhere. They could go forward after what you've been through. It might be kind of nice to take them back towards the feet. Couple of breaths excuse me, to get yourself set up for any position of final rest that you'd like to be in. And I'll leave you here so that you can rest for however long your surroundings, pets and loved ones and roommates and time will allow you. So snuggle in and get comfortable, resting on belly, back, anything at all. Close the eyes and tune back in to how grounded you feel. When we lose touch with this, our reaction and our approach is to go and try to find things outside of ourselves to reground ourselves back to presence so that we can deal with the situations currently on our plate. And what this practice of Yin Yoga is helping us to become beautifully aware of is that we get grounded. The thing that we need is to inhabit the body. Right? This idea you hear again and again and told different ways to go within. It's powerful. And we prove it to ourselves each time we show back up to our mat. So when you have those days, when you have those times when you're just a little disconnected from whatever, and you need to get grounded again, try rolling out your mat. A couple poses, maybe do one of our videos together. Get grounded again by tuning into you. It's all you need. To feel yourself fully rest here for as long as you can. With deep love and gratitude from the bottom of my heart. Namaste.